on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
Hey, I'm FTFE and welcome back to the channel that ties stupidity to four horses and yells giddy up. It's Saturday night, so we're going to have a debate, and we have back on the channel Rad Vlad, who last time he was on didn't behave that well, but he did do an apology video, so we're giving him a second chance. With me, as always, is my partner in crime, Team Skeptic. How you doing, sir?
A bit under the weather tonight, but I'm here.
Oh, sad to hear that, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a few days. If you've heard any of my live streams, pretty much since Wednesday, I've kind of had a stuffy nose and whatnot. So hopefully it's the weather change. It went from like being normal weather, and then anytime the temperature changes real fast, I always feel like real shitty. And right now I feel shitty and it's cold outside. But
what do you mean it's cold? You live in Texas. I thought it never got cold.
It is cold. It's like 50 degrees, 40 degrees, something like that.
That's like normal for Scotland.
That's cold to me. But yeah, last night I had a debate on modern day debates. It was interesting, I guess. The guy
he ran away.
The very first thing he said was, I'm not going to call you names. I'm not going to say insults or this or that. And then he turns around calls me every name in the book when I tried to be really cool.
Yeah.
I'm putting out a video about it, so it should
I look forward to that
tonight or tomorrow.
Cool, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining me as always. I'm just going to keep an eye on what's going on. But yeah, we also have with us Rad Vlad. How are you doing, sir? Has he fucking disappeared? He was literally there like 1 minute ago. What happened?
I have no idea.
Vlad disconnected.
Oh, well, we can go over a few things that are going in my video for anybody that did happen to see it. I did make a comment that he said that science was hiding equations. I wrote my notes down with a Sharpie, which I always do, and it actually, what I had written down was science hides explanations. So I have to make
science
a
hides
on
explanations.
So which he did say. He said science was hiding the explanations to keep us. Why won't they just give us all the explanations so that we can put flat Earth to rest? And I was like, they're not hiding the explanations. You guys just don't fucking get it.
Yeah.
But I did say equations, and that was wrong. So I do want to correct myself on that and make sure that I don't make him look any worse than he made himself look.
No, he did. One thing he kept saying was that, oh, well, if there was these proofs of a spinning globe and proofs of gravity, then, they'd be shouting it from the rooftops and it would be front page news and everything. But it wouldn't be front page news because everyone fucking knows it's a globe.
That's okay. That was exactly what I was wanting to cover. Was when he said that. That's when I wrote down, if I could show you all my notes. It's crazy. I have it on an old money order, and it's all written in Sharpie. And I was writing all that down. And when he said that, I was like, wow. Could you just imagine the headlines? Coriolis proves gold globe. Yeah, we've been knowing that since the fucking 1800s, 1920s, whenever. I'd have to go back and look, but obviously we've been knowing it since we've been understanding frames of reference. And what did he say? The Copernicus was 500 AD, and I was like, really? You want to check that again? He's like, or 500 BC, and I was like, really? You want to check that again? He's like, yeah, I mean 500 AD, and I'm like, really? You want to check that again as well?
I know.
He was just.
When you showed him the evidence of gravity, and he was like, oh well, Team Skeptic just proven gravity. Well, game over then, I guess. And he was annoyed because you basically said that you didn't care about what the Bible said, and I think that was his entire argument. So, that was all he was going to do.
Unfortunately, it was. And that's why I said, I don't have a problem with you believing in the Bible, but what I do have a problem is when you try to tell me, oh, this is the reason that we know that, God exists because it says so in the Bible. And you're like, what? No. Why not? I'm not gonna let you pull that bullshit here.
Yeah.
You know, I don't. What about spaghetti monster doctrine? Have you proven that wrong yet?
I know,
And
right?
he's like, oh yeah, well, it's just as viable as fucking the Bible. I mean,
Yeah.
shit.
I mean,
Neither
he
has
came
been proven
for a
right or wrong.
debate,
You
but
can't
he
prove it
acted
wrong.
like you weren't allowed to debate him. You know, that was the way he was going. It was
Yeah.
just like he wanted you to sit there and accept all the shit he was going to tell you. You know what? If you guys want to believe in the Bible and stuff, that's cool. But don't try and force it on me, and don't try and use it as fucking proof of anything, because it just isn't.
Yeah, exactly. Man.
Yeah.
You can't.
Guys,
I give a shit
that was
less whether
great.
you believe in God or not, but
We have
using
Vlad
it
back.
as proof is just bullshit.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Vlad. I'm sorry.
All right,
Thought you
welcome
talked
back,
about
Vlad.
Thank you. My phone rang and all heck broke loose. I hope that doesn't happen again. I turned off my ringer. The way I got my phone hooked up now, like if somebody calls me, it just supersedes all other activities, man. And
Fair enough.
the speaker sound makes such an annoying sound, and it just cuts off. I hope it doesn't happen again, man. Sorry about that.
No, that's cool. Obviously, like we were saying before we started, we're not going to go down the same routes that we went in when you were last on my channel. If there is any of that, I will just boot you, and it'll be the end of it. So the way it's going to work today is you've got 10 minutes to present your argument for the Earth being flat. Then I will present some arguments for the Earth definitely not being flat. And then we can just go into discussing those evidences. So why don't you just take it away, Vlad? Please tell us all why the Earth is a magic cookie frisbee thing.
Well, I'll tell you why magic floating basketball in the middle of space, which is absolutely ridiculous. If we didn't learn that in school and we understood we're on a flat plane from the time we were born, if some joker came along and said, hey, guess what? We're on a giant beach ball floating in space and we're the ones traveling around the sun, he'd get laughed at. That's a ridiculous statement to make.
Okay, well,
that everyone believes.
You've got 10 minutes. On you go with your evidence.
Yeah, that's part of my 10 minutes right there.
No, your 10 minutes starts now.
All right. So you're not going to cut in?
Nope. I'll let. Unless you start being abusive or anything, I'll let you just get on and do what you need to do.
I won't be abusive, but when you invited me to it's like what you did is you invited a guy to a fist fight after school, and you bring a friend along. I didn't bring nobody. How come you got Team Skeptic over there, man?
Because me and Team Skeptic are business partners.
but I thought I was debating you, and I got to deal with two of you guys, man.
Vlad, I'm just here to make sure that it doesn't. Hey, Vlad, I'm just here to make sure that it doesn't devolve or go in any incorrect direction. If it starts getting away from the topic, I'll step in. But other than that, I'm going to be staying out of it.
Oh, he's getting phoned again. Just hang up on them.
Hey, while that's going on, why don't you address the super chat before we get started?
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Flerfs are idiots. 50 Canadian dollars. Hey, FTFE and team. Just got myself a good camera and mic for streaming. Maybe I can live chat with you two sometimes. You guys are great. I love your content. I've watched all your videos. Keep it up, guys. Put this $50 to good use.
Hey, you hear me?
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, Vlad.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Very
All right,
appreciate
let me turn up
that.
the volume.
Cool. All right. So.
Okay, wait. Say something because I'm not hearing you now. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yeah, we can hear you.
You know, it disconnected from my Bluetooth. Hold on. Let me get it back.
Okay.
One more try. Hold on.
When you're ready, I'll start your 10 minutes.
Okay, talk.
Hello.
Make some sounds or play music here.
Testing.
Oh, man. Took out my damn Bluetooth. Hello?
Hello? Can you hear us?
Man, barely. That sucks, man. I don't know how. It's not connected to my Bluetooth. Okay, I think I know what happened. Hold on.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
Flerf text.
Unbelievable, man. People calling with nothing good to say. Okay, all right, should be back now.
Right,
Can
okay.
I hear you?
Yeah, we can hear you.
No, not bad. I don't hear you guys, man. Damn. Unbelievable.
Testing.
Unreal.
Testing for Vlad.
Yeah, so while he...
It's not coming
gets
through my
his,
nice speaker.
once he hears me, I'm sure he'll say
Stupid,
something.
man.
I'll just start talking about last night's debate until he gets back in.
Yeah.
So yeah, he opened up claiming Einstein, and then said he didn't. He brought up geocentrism twice in his opening statement, then said he didn't have a geocentric belief or model. And I was like, no, you're parroting the InfoWars video. Like, I literally just did a debunk video on this. I know what you're talking about. And yes, you're absolutely. He was saying everything. Like, he used the same keywords that were used in that video. It's a philosophical. They only discounted the geocentric model on philosophical principles. I'm like, that's word for word out of the fucking thing.
Yeah, it's like he watched that InfoWars video and then just said exactly the same thing. Luckily, you just debunked that on Simon Dan's channel.
Yeah, and then there was one inference that I made that maybe you could say that it was me being reaching a little bit when he said God is proven and nobody has disproven the Bible. And when I take notes, I don't like transcribe word for word what he said. So I put God, and then I had a dash next to it, and I put Bible, spaghetti monster, proven with a question mark. And so I was like, you said that God was proven, and he's like, I never said that. I said the Bible was. Well, then okay, so you didn't say that God was proven, but you did say the Bible was not proven false, and that God exists. So I can kind of infer those two things from what you said. But okay, right, you didn't say God is proven. You just said God exists and the Bible is proven. So that's essentially saying God is proven.
How are we looking, Vlad?
We had that. So,
no, he's coming back. He's disconnected now. He's just coming back.
No. So, in my video, I'm gonna go ahead and post the like an abridged version where we take out all of his wambulancing, because that's exactly what he did for a while, was sit there and cry the whole time. He spoke more than me and then said I was not giving him a chance to speak.
I know, right?
I don't know. It was really weird.
Vlad, we can't hear you.
I even said it at the beginning. I was like...
All right, you hear me?
Oh, no, we can hear you. That's cool.
All right, good. I'm back in. All right.
Are we ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, I'll start your 10 minutes. Go.
All right. Let me fix my camera here. Okay. All right. Yeah, I wasn't really 100% ready, man. Time went fast. I'll do what I've got. I'm just gonna shoot from the hip. Okay. Number one, you guys have no clear natural video of Earth. Why? Because it's fake. All of the video that we have looks unnatural, manufactured, artificial, contrived. Why? Because it is fake. And what I'm talking about is this. Like, for example, some of the, I don't know, people listening to you are younger, but I remember a guy named Jacques Cousteau, and you guys can look him up. He used to have like a documentary TV show. It would come on TV, and he would get camera crews with him, and they'd go out to the ocean, and they would enter the underwater realm where the fishes live. And he'd go down there, and you can see the camera, go under the water, and they would film sharks and coral reefs with their scuba gear on and wetsuits, and they kind of throw themselves back off the boat, and they splash in the water. They're filming that realm. There is a realm under the ocean that we videotaped. Anybody that says that there's no such place is a nut, because and then not only do we have clear, natural-looking, uncontrived-looking video of the actual realm that exists underneath our ocean, anybody can say to me, hey, if you don't believe it, come on with me, I'll show you. And we'll go rent some scuba gear, and we'll go under there, and we'll see all that stuff. You can't do that with Earth and space. Why not? If the Wright brothers invented flight back in the beginning of 1906, and then 56 years later we've got jumbo jets, and Apollo 11 went all the way to the moon, And then fast forward another 50 years, 2019, there's still like, oh, sorry, public, we can't take regular folks to at least a space so we can view the Earth with our own eyes and see the ball, or at least an orbit of Earth. So we could any common guy, like any person. Why is it so hard to do that? It's always like a story that we get. Oh, it's too expensive. Oh, it's too hard. Oh, you know how much rocket fuel it takes? Make the craft big so that you could fit 200 millionaires or billionaires on a jumbo jet and get them up there. There's no excuse for it. There's no reason it's not possible. The reason it's not possible is because it's fake. The reason it's not possible is it's not possible. And if they did get up there, they would see something that is different from what we're being told. You know, there's no excuse why it can't be done. And like I was saying, you could look at video of real things. You know, like a drag race. The best example is the underwater realm under the ocean. You know, it's a realm different from the one we live in, but you have clear video evidence of it. No such thing of Earth from space or around space. And throw space in there too. We've got satellites like way out there, like millions of miles away. I think the Discovery satellite is like past our solar system already. And all this stuff we see are like cartoons. How come we don't see a clear video footage of that appears to be a camera, a high, nice quality camera planted on a vehicle that's traveling through space, a craft of some sort, a satellite, the Discovery craft, and we have clear video footage of Discovery passing by planets. And it's too far. Well, let's do like a time lapse, or let's speed up the film or something. They can always do it, but they can't do it. I need to drink, my mouth's getting dry. There's always a story. There's always an excuse, because that's the way liars talk. They can do it, but they can't do it. You can do it. Let me see. Well, yeah, my leg hurts right now. I'll do it tomorrow. My tail hurts. I can't do it right now. Liars. Pinocchio. You can't do it because you can't do it. So that's to just wrap up what I'm saying. There's no natural looking, clear video evidence and no possibility of a normal, ordinary, everyday guy or girl to just get up there and see it with their own eyes. And it should be possible by now. We've been, it was like 50 years ago they went to the moon, and you can't get a regular guy up high enough to see the ball Earth? Give me a break. Okay, that's number one. Number two, we see too far. And there's many examples. I'll bring up the Chicago one. We can see the Chicago skyline from the other side of Lake Michigan. We shouldn't be able to see it. It's like 60 miles, across that lake. And it's, if you do the Earth curve calculator, it's supposed to be like 2,000 miles of Earth curve. Yet, and the tallest building in Chicago City skyline is like, it's below the 2,000 feet mark. I think it's like 1,500 feet. Yet we see the whole skyline. And then you guys come back and say, well, it's refracting. So you've got this magic word, refraction, like you'll use gravity too. Like when we back you guys up into the corner, you'll use a magic word like gravity. But right now we're going to focus on refraction. So I'll tell you right now on your show, Craig, Rad Vlad is putting down a $1,000 challenge to any of your followers who can prove refraction to me. And here's what I want to see. You guys are claiming that somehow because of the weather conditions, Chicago City skyline is being projected over the hill so that we can see it. What I want you guys to do is make an experiment. I hear somebody typing, man. You guys put it down. Type it down. What I'm saying.
I'm making notes.
I want to see someone. Yeah, I want to see somebody recreate that. I want you to set up some bricks or a little model of a city on one side of a hill. It doesn't have to be exactly like this, but you're going to get the general idea. And then I want the viewer, to go on the other side of the hill where you can't see the stacked up bricks or the little model of the city, and go ahead, have at it, create the weather condition that's going to cause those bricks or that model of that city to project its image over that hill so that you see it like right on top. You do that, man, I will probably begin to doubt in flat Earth, and I will pay you the $1,000. But I'll tell you one thing. Okay, hold on. If you can't do that,
you've got 2 minutes left. Okay.
All right, good. Thank you. Hey, and I'll tell you what. I'll pay $1,000. But if you guys can't do that, you pay me $1,000. So I don't want to get a bunch of tough guys challenging and smart, so they could do it. Put your money where your mouth is. I don't want to talk to you unless you put $1,000 down. We can both put $1,000 on a bill of lading. And when you clearly demonstrate that, I'll pay you. If you fail, you pay me. So I got to take my last, the submarine. Submarine sinks the globe. There's nothing about the surface of the water being curved to the bottom that would cause that submarine to follow when the pilot makes it. When the pilot makes that submarine go nice and straight, there is such a thing as a straight line from point A to point B. If the water was curved, that submarine would be coming out of the water. It'd be circling. They'd have to re-submerge to go down again. The way it works is it's on buoyancy neutral. Buoyancy neutral, whether the submarine is 10 feet underwater, 20 feet underwater, 100 feet underwater, 1,000 feet underwater, it does not change. You turn on the engines, you got the little elevators and the rudder nice and straight, level, 90 degrees. A real level, not relative to the center of Earth, but a real level. There is such a thing. You hit that engine, and when you go on a globe, it don't work, boys and girls. Done.
Okay, well, you had 30 seconds left. Wow.
This is the rhythm of the night.
Okay. Just before I get on with mine, I want to say hello to Natalie Thompson in the chat. Are you going to run away again, or are you just going to hang around because, you are a pussy bitch? Everyone in the chat, say hello to Natalie Thompson. Make sure Natalie Thompson feels welcome. Right, so that was interesting, Vlad. Especially the bit about submarines, because, I was a submariner. But I might as well do my points. Right, so let's first off start with the fact that there is observable, measurable curvature that can be seen wherever you want. We know it's there because it's been proven. I don't know if you've seen this particular video, but I will just quickly play this for you.
You're seeing through this hole, through the next hole, and seeing the light at the backboard, or at 17 feet off the water. The Earth is flat. If he's holding it up at 23 feet high and we're seeing the light, well, that's because the Earth's curved. So I should only be able to see it when it's at 17 feet. Okay, go ahead and drive down there, Enrique. You're going to hold the light there. Enrique, how high is your light?
17 feet.
I mean, it's as... we don't see you, Enrique. Lift up your light way above your head. Interesting.
Interesting. Yes, so there is some curvature, and I'll show you a little bit more curvature. So a good friend of ours, a member of the community called Dazza the cameraman, he went out with the Flerf camera of choice, the P900, and literally filmed the curvature
different stages as I zoom in.
Earth.
Are we seeing more?
So, as you can see, one boat is on the horizon, one boat is behind the horizon, and as he points out a little bit later in the video, no amount of zooming will ever bring that back. So either that ship is sinking and someone needs to send some help, or it's being physically hidden by some kind of obstruction. Like the curve of the Earth, for instance. So yeah, there's two examples of definite curvature that are kind of indisputable. My next thing that I'm going to bring up is the fact that we know gravity is a thing. Gravity exists. There is a downward accelerating force. So, team actually did this one last night, but it's also one of my favorite proofs.
Weight is 152.
Right. So, Here we have a scale, okay? Now, on the bottom of this scale, there is a lead pyramid weight. The weight of this weight is 2.166 grams. Now, what he does
152.166 grams.
Is he takes that weight, which is hanging down, and he adds a larger mass underneath it, a lead ball, which is diamagnetic, so there's no magnetic stuff going on here causing that. And what happens when he introduces that larger weight underneath it is that it actually increases the weight of that pyramid of lead by 0.01 grams, showing that in adding extra mass actually increases the weight of something, which is a fundamental part of what gravity is, because F equals mg. So yeah, there's evidence of gravity there. So and the other thing I want to bring up is that there is absolute evidence of the rotation of the Earth. This is a guy called the Gentleman Physicist. He did an experiment in a local block of flats that he has, where he set up a homemade Foucault's pendulum made out of plastic.
So about an hour's exposure.
I'll just turn off the audio. And he let this swing for, I think it's about 45 minutes, because that was literally all he could get out of it. And as you can see, it's just swinging backwards and forwards with that paintbrush going through the little ink pot. And as this swings, over the time, there is a noticeable drift to the swing. What he ends up with is a angle that he can measure. And when he measures this angle, he can actually use the calculations from that angle and figure out his latitude on the Earth. And this will work wherever you are on the Earth. And it's just some simple high school trigonometry that you can do to actually figure this out. And he managed to get it correct within like 1.4 degrees. And this was simply from measuring the swing of the pendulum. The other evidence of rotation, I don't know if you've seen this one, but Bob, you there? Bob? Oh, here's Bob.
If the Earth is spinning at one rotation every 24 hours, that means that every hour it has to turn 15 degrees. And if the gyroscope is mounted anywhere on Earth, it's going to drift. In today's 21st century navigation systems, they're using what's called a ring laser gyroscope. It is extremely precise. If we could simply get one of these ring laser gyroscopes, we would be able to prove once and for all that there is no rotation to the Earth. One of the people in the community actually purchased one for $20,000. But what we found is when we turned on that gyroscope, we found that we were picking up a drift, a 15 degree per hour drift.
So yeah, that's also another interesting thing that shows that there is, in fact, a rotation to the Earth. And that was done by another flat earther. So yeah, there's evidence of curvature, evidence that gravity is a thing, and evidence that the Earth rotates. I've still got 3 minutes, 26 seconds, but I'm pretty much done. Right, Vlad, what I'd like to do is I'd like to take an opportunity to debunk your points first, and then afterwards you can debunk what I've just said, okay? Is that all right? Okay, so yeah. Let's go with your first thing. I mean, you didn't really bring much positive evidence or any positive evidence of the flat Earth. I mean, I suppose the Chicago thing, but let's first of all go with the no video of Earth. This, Vlad, is a 24-hour live stream from EchoStar 11, which ran for several years and was literally a 24-hour live stream of Earth from space that ran for a long, long time. I'll just nip forward a bit so you can see. So yeah, EchoStar 11 was a 24-hour live stream of Earth. It was there for a long, long time. It's not the only thing. We've also got the Discover satellite. We've also got Himawari 8, which gives us full pictures of the globe every 10 minutes and is able to detect things like the bushfires that have been going on in Australia. So it's not just some random pictures. It is actual live images from space. So yeah, we do have video of the Earth from space. There has been video of the Earth from space for a long time. So yeah, that what you said was completely wrong. Chicago Skyline. My simple answer to that is, where the fuck is the bottom of those buildings? And why can't we see any of the smaller buildings? And why can't we see it all the time? The answer is because the Earth isn't flat. If the Earth was flat, then we should be able to make that observation of the Chicago skyline all of the time, not just when the conditions are right. You said that $1,000 to prove refraction. A famous quote of yours, Vlad. There's something wrong with that laser. You remember saying that? Yeah. That laser, Vlad. That laser was refracting. That's what that laser was doing. I'm just going to try and find that picture again.
But let me ask you: was it refract? So lasers refract at the exact amount of Earth curvature, so that it hits the target on the other side of the lake at exactly the same height as it was fired from the other side. So,
given the correct conditions, lasers can refract just like other light. So yeah, here is laser refracting, bending the light, as is the same effect when you see the Chicago skyline. The light is bending and it's bringing it above the horizon. So refraction is a thing. There's thousands of videos on YouTube that... wait, there's thousands... Vlad, it's my time right now. There's thousands of videos on... There's thousands of videos on YouTube that show refraction is a thing. That I am going to take that $1,000 challenge that you have put out and do it properly so that you will have to pay me $1,000. Now, the other thing you said was submarines. Vlad, my job in the military was a submariner. I was a nuclear engineer aboard T-class and V-class submarines. So I know how submarines work. And what you were saying about how they would come out of the water is just wrong, because the thing is, the same as planes, when a submarine is at a particular depth, so it's adjusted its ballast so that it is, say, 40 feet under the water, as long as it doesn't then change the amount of ballast in the tanks, it is going to stay at that level, because the pressure of the water, the band of pressure, follows the curve of the Earth. The same way an aeroplane, once it has the thrust meeting, going against the force of drag and everything, as long as you've got those forces all equal, the plane will stay at an altitude. It's the same with submarines. Once all the forces are equal, it will stay at that depth below the water until you adjust the ballast to either raise it or lower it in the water. So yeah, there is videos of Earth, Chicago skyline, where the fuck's the bottom of the buildings. Refraction is definitely a thing. Lasers refract. And submarines, I was a submariner. You're fucking wrong about that. So that's your points covered. Would you like to address what I brought up?
Which one do you want me to start with first?
Just go. Take your time. I gave you a good... Well, let's start with the 24-hour live stream from space.
Oh, okay. Again... I need to trust that these people are actually videotaping the globe Earth. Can I look through that camera? Can I help set up that camera on that spaceship and look at how come it's always done in some secret back room? I don't know what they're filming. How come I can't personally pay for a seat on a space tours agency flight
can.
And see it from my... Well, no, I can't, because I did a video where I called Space Tours, and the guy said nobody's ever gone. I said, can I see some videotape or photos of how the adventure's going to be? He said, well, we don't have any. Nobody's been yet.
Well, yeah, because space tourism is only just starting. But your claim was that there was no live streams from no video of Earth from space, but.
No, I'm saying, Craig, there is video of that appears to be what you guys say is happening, of the realm that we exist in. There's some videotape that shows that image that we are taught in school. But what I'm saying is there's no natural looking video. Like, you know, when you have your cell phone out and you're filming your friends out in a party, or, you know, you're at an amusement park and you're filming, or when Jacques Cousteau went under the surface ocean and he videotaped that realm, you see the movement of the camera. You see that a person is holding the camera and moving natural realm. It's a real place. And on top of it, I can go down there and see it for myself. And if I can't, there's real looking natural videotape. There's no such thing of Earth. There's no, you know, everything just looks contrived, artificial, and manufactured is what I'm saying. They don't look the same. It just looks odd. It looks like it's done in like a special effects studio or something. You know, it doesn't look natural and authentic. I'm saying.
Okay.
It looks weird. It looks weird. You know, it looks weird.
All right. Do you want to go on to the next one?
Yeah. Well, the Chicago City Skyline.
Yeah.
I'll do that one. Okay. On a flat plane, there is a horizon. It's a point where the sky appears to touch the ground or the water. Okay. And let's say, for example, you're 6 feet tall and you look out into the distance and you see a point where sky is touching ground. That's the horizon. Now, you guys say it's because the earth curves. We say it's because of perspective. But you guys also have perspective on a globe. So perspective is, we all agree on perspective. Things get smaller as they get further from us. Now, the thing with Chicago City Skyline, how come sometimes you might not see all of it because boats, here's, I'll throw this in too. There are boats that we see that sail off into the distance. And if we zoom into it, we can pull back the boat. So a lot of flat earthers say, oh, see, you could pull back the boat with more horizon behind it. But eventually the boat will appear to go over a curve, right? Okay, so that's what I'm going to talk about. There's a point where where it goes over what appears to be a curve. But what is happening is on a flat plane, there's a point where the horizon is. So let's say if I'm 6 feet tall, I look out, the horizon is 3 miles away. Okay, let's just say, for example, I don't know if that's exactly right, but maybe it's 3 miles or 4 miles away. There's a point where sky touches earth. Now, let's say you have a very high mountain or tower that's 5 miles away. So let's say horizon is 3 miles away and a very high tower is 4 miles away. Okay, the bottom portion of that tower will be covered because where sky touches ground is 3 miles away. Yet the very tall tower is 4 miles away, so that there's a portion of the bottom of that object is going to be covered, and we'll see the top. That's what happens on a flat plane, guys. Sorry to break. Huh?
No, carry on. I'll let you finish your points, and then we'll get back to that.
Go ahead. Then I'll go to the last one, the submarine. But you can counter that if you want.
Well, no, I'd like to hear your response to the submarine one first.
All right. Okay. Well, you're a submariner. I didn't know that. Very interesting. You know a lot more about subs than I do. Mm-hmm. I've just seen a few videos. I did see one video. I can't remember who it was by. There was a guy that supposedly was a submarine captain, a young guy, and he was saying, yeah, Earth curvature was never even addressed in the training that we did for submarines. He was supposedly a flat earther. I don't know if he's a real guy or not, but he said it was never addressed. And the way that Mr. Thrive and Survive, well, hold on, the way Mr. Thrive and Survive explained the way the submarine works is as much knowledge as I have. In his video, he said that once buoyancy neutral is achieved, that submarine won't sink and it won't float up to the surface. It'll remain equal with the water. Uh-huh. So if you push down on it, or if you turn an engine and point the rudder so that it travels down, it'll travel down, and then it can travel straight. It can travel up. It can travel down, but buoyancy neutral doesn't change whether you're at 10 feet or 100 feet. Is that true?
Well, it's when you have a balance of forces. So you put an amount of ballast into the tank, you're going to be a certain depth under the water. And say you're 20 feet under the water, okay? Now, it on the globe model, that 20 feet under the water is the same all the way around the globe. So that pressure, that band of pressure is going to be following the curve of the Earth. And because the submarine uses that band of pressure to maintain its buoyancy, it will naturally just follow the curve of the Earth. You won't need to change it. The same way that if an airplane has, it's got its engines going at a certain amount, it's got the thrust is equaling the drag on the wings and everything. You don't need to change it. It will follow the curve of the Earth because that is the pressure band that the plane flies in. So, and no, you're right. We weren't told about the curve of the Earth during our training for submarines because you don't need to be told about the curve of the Earth. It's really not important to how a submarine works. But one thing that I had to do on board submarines was calculate the amount of fuel that we would need in the diesel engines in case the nuclear reactor stopped working. And if I didn't do that properly, then we'd run out of fuel and all die. So, yeah, I'm sorry, but your argument about submarines is completely bunk.
Well, let me ask you this. I'm not done with you about that yet. Okay, you said at 20 feet, the buoyancy neutral, the ballast are set at a certain level, correct?
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, the ballast. That means that's the canister that holds water and air? A little bit of water, a little bit of air?
You've got ballast tanks. You need to bring water in to make it dive, pump the water out, put in air to make the submarine rise. So
how do you make it raise? If you're at the bottom of the ocean, how do you pump air in there to make it raise?
You force the
water out. Where do you get the air from it?
You force the water out, leaving air in there.
Oh, you force water out, but you don't gain air to make you float by forcing water out. You just create kind of a vacuum then.
No, because you have it's all designed so that when you force the water out, the air refills that area. I mean, I could go through the whole design of submarines with you, but that's quite a complicated subject. But the basic design behind it is that when you push the water out, it's filling it with air, the same way as if you had an airlock.
I got you there, though. I got you there.
Listen, how do you think Vlad, shut up. Vlad, shut up. How do you think you force the water out? What do you think you put into the ballast tanks to force the water out?
Well, you've got existing air inside of the submarine trapped already.
No. Listen to my question, Vlad. Vlad, listen to my question. What do you put into the ballast tanks to force the water out?
Right. The existing air in the sub.
Yeah. So then you force it into the ballast tanks, getting rid of the water, making you more buoyant.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that makes it so it's lighter because you force the water out, so it's lighter now. Okay, yeah. Okay. That's one way. Okay, that's one way to go up. But what I want to know is this: when you set that submarine so that it's the same weight as the water, it's buoyancy neutral.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're 20 feet under or 100 feet under, that does not change. You don't have to keep adjusting the buoyancy neutral, correct?
Well, actually, that's not quite correct. It's really quite hard to keep a submarine at a particular level. You have to constantly adjust like the trim tanks and everything to keep it at that level because it's not quite as simple as that. Yes, the basic concept around it is that you have a point of buoyancy that is matching where you are in the water, but it's really not quite as easy as just keeping. You have to constantly trim, put water between the trim tanks and keep adjusting it to stay at that level. But the point is that if you have, say your submarine is at 20 feet below the water, all right, that 20 feet below the water is 20 feet below the water all the way around the globe. So that pressure band is going to be the same all the way around the globe. Because 20 feet below the water doesn't change no matter where you are on the globe.
Well, I'm drawing a little picture of a submarine. It might kind of look like a shark. Well, okay, so here's a sub. You guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So if it goes straight, it's gonna surf. That's like, you know, it's an exaggerated image because it's not that.
Yeah,
you
but
know, whatever.
right, if that right in that picture,
out.
if the submarine was to go straight along, it would actually be going deeper under the water. Do you see what I mean? The submarine is going to be following the curve of the water.
Why would it follow the curve of the water? Because of the pressure?
Yes.
You're saying? But that doesn't change the buoyancy neutral, because whether it was 20 feet underwater or 100 feet underwater, it won't sink, it won't float. Let me ask you this. If the submarine was 100, let's say that you set buoyancy neutral at 20 feet under the water, right? You're 20 feet under, you set buoyancy neutral.
Well, let's just say it's 20 feet under the water, okay? So you've got the ballast tanks trimmed at the right point, okay? You're 20 feet under the water. That 20 feet will follow the curve of the Earth, right? If you say the surface of the water is 0 foot, okay? And the surface is curved. So 20 feet under that surface at all points is going to be level. It's going to be 20 feet under the water along that curve. So as long as you maintain the correct buoyancy of your submarine to be 20 feet under the water, it will naturally follow the curve of the Earth.
You're not letting me ask the question.
Go on.
Yes, all right. Okay, what I'm saying is once that submarine is buoyancy neutral at 20 feet underwater, okay, and then it travels down 100 feet by changing the level of the rudder and engaging the engine. Will it also remain still under the water at the same level of buoyancy neutral it was at 20 feet?
But
so let me.
I think your question's a bit ill-formed.
Hold on. Let me say the question, because now I'm getting confused because my mind was confused. Now I'm going to say it right. If at 20 feet you said it's buoyancy neutral at 20 feet.
Yeah. Now,
and it doesn't sink, it doesn't float up to the surface. It's just like still right there, I forget the word. Okay, and then you transport it down 100 feet so that it doesn't sink, it doesn't float up to the surface.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's getting phoned again. Can you just hang up on the call? He's a popular guy, apparently. Yes, Jane, basically that's right. The buoyancy point follows the curve of the Earth. That's a way of saying it, yeah.
Now we're off my speakerphone again. Hey, I'm gonna have to go away and come back with the same link.
Okay, do that.
Every time someone calls me, it screws up the whole setup. I'll be back.
Oh, whilst he does that, team, any thoughts? Team, you there?
Hello?
Hey.
Hello?
Yeah, my bad. I was on the phone with family.
All right.
What's up?
Just want if you're on the phone, it's cool. Don't worry. Are you back, Vlad?
No, it's okay. It's okay. What's up?
Yeah.
I was just asking for your thoughts so far. But, Vlad's back now. It's all right.
Let me call you later.
Oh no, he's still talking to somebody on the phone.
Okay. Yeah. No, I was having a conversation with my brother. We were actually talking about the
Let me call.
Coming up.
All right.
And hey, hold on, Jason. I'm just gonna.
It's cool. You go back to your conversation, dude.
No, it's okay. He's fine. If he needs to hang up, he can, and I'll call him back in a moment. Yeah, we were just talking about some of the COPPA stuff, and because I got some new information today too that just First off, the FTC is working with content creators right now, which is fucking awesome, guys. I mean,
Yeah,
you guys
I did read
understand
that.
the blanket statements that they're putting out from the FTC regarding the YouTube content creators, and the very like specific thing they said about, we are starting January 1st, we will be going after content creators who are violating these. But I saw a video that was shared with me about a lawyer who was talking about it this morning, and he was like, well, most people don't have a problem, most people won't have a problem, and then at the very end he said, unless you have, you know, a video game channel, or if you have animated characters that appeal to kids, if you have any kind of character that appeals to kids, any kind of artwork that appeals to kids, and that's literally my whole avatar. My avatar, my channel art, my original stuff, it's all Legos.
Yeah.
And even me and my brother were talking. He has a young daughter, and if she's like, can see when she sees me on the screen talking, not me in person, but when my Lego, she didn't assume that it's me there. She sees the Lego.
Yeah.
That's what she identifies with.
Well, me and you were talking once, and when you had that
still
on the screen, when you had it automatically so that it was the mouth was moving with your avatar as you were talking, and my daughter was sitting with me, and she was like, "That Lego man's talking to you." So yeah, I see what you mean.
Exactly, and so I can recognize that. Yes, I've got to make some changes. And you know, it'll have to happen. It's a bit demoralizing because every one of my videos has a Lego guy in it. Every single one of them.
You don't have to start all your videos by shouting, "Cunt! This is not for kids, wanker, dick, cunt."
That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna start by I'm gonna go fuck, shit, bitch, pussy, dick, butthole. This isn't for children ages 13 or younger. That's how my intro is going to have to be, so that there is no misunderstanding that I didn't just open it up with, "Hey, children." You know, no, it opened up with fuck, shit, dick, bitch, pussy, you know, whatever, a whole list of expletives, and then go, okay, great. Now that you know that it's not made for 13-year-old or younger, we can begin.
I'm back.
All right. Okay, Vlad's back. All right.
Okay, I'm gonna step away and finish that phone call.
All right.
And
cheers, man.
I am listening. That's how I knew that y'all were trying to reach me, but I just forgot that I had the mic muted. But I am listening. I'm just talking with my brother.
So let's just put a lid on the submarine thing, Vlad. The point is that the pressure changes with depth. Okay, and once you match the ballast of the submarine to the pressure that you want to be at, it's going to stay at that depth. And that depth follows the curve of the Earth. It's the same concept as a plane flies in the pressure band, okay?
But you're not answering my question.
What was the question?
My question is, at the level of buoyancy neutral achieved to keep the submarine not floating to the surface and not sinking at 20 feet, is it a different neutral when the submarine is at 100 feet beneath the surface? Yes or no?
You have to have a different ballast to be. I'm a bit confused by your question. Pressure changes with depth. The deeper down you go, the higher the pressure. Okay, does that make sense? Right. So if you want to sink, wait. Let me clear this up here. Right. If you want the submarine to sink more, you will bring more and more water into the ballast tanks, and the submarine will sink more and more. So you get it at 100 feet under the water. You've got the right amount of water in the ballast tanks to keep the submarine at that level. You don't really need to change it again unless you want to rise or sink some more. It's not quite as simple as that. Density of the water changes. You constantly have to trim the tanks and everything. But the basic physics of it is once you are at a point of buoyancy that matches the density and the pressure of the water, it's going to maintain that unless you change it. And the depth and the pressure, they are following the curve of the Earth. So the submarine will also follow the curve of the Earth.
All right, Craig, you gotta understand, I'm Serbian and kind of slow, so it's hard for me to follow. When you're talking about all that physics stuff and value, you're using a bunch of words I never heard before, man. But I'm asking you a simple question. You haven't answered it yet.
I thought I did.
What? No. What I'm asking you is, if the submarine is buoyancy neutral at 20 feet, So that means that the gadgets need to be adjusted. There needs to be a certain amount of air and a certain amount of water to balance the weight of that metal that's in water that's heavier than the water, because the metal would just sink down. But if there's too much air, it'll float up past the surface. So if they get all those things balanced, buoyancy, neutral, balanced at 20 feet, does that balance that the gadgets set change if the submarine is at 100 feet beneath the surface of the water?
Well, yes, because you have to bring more water into the ballast tanks to make it go down. So your submarine will be denser. It's why a ship, even though a ship is a massive, big metal thing that weighs several hundred tons, it is still less dense than the water because of the amount of air and everything in it. Okay, does that make sense?
But wait, so okay, hold on. I'll follow you my way. So if you suck more water into the ballast tanks, where does the air go? It goes out. The air, out of the stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then the submarine begins to sink.
Yeah.
And then you're saying it'll sink to a certain point.
Yeah.
And then stop sinking.
Yeah. Once the so if you then make your submarine a certain density by bringing more water in, it will go to that point that matches wherever you want to be in the water. And again, that's not going to change if you need to keep it at that level. All right.
So then once it's heavy enough to stay at 100 feet underwater, you got rid of air and you sucked water in, and now you're at 100 feet underwater. How are you gonna find air to replace extra air you'd need to surface that submarine by pushing the water out of the ballast? Where's that magic air coming from, the extra air that you just kicked out?
Do you really want me to talk you through the operations of a submarine, or are we going to talk about flat Earth?
Well, if you lose this point, we can go to the next one.
I haven't. My goodness. Do you not understand what I'm saying? If you
can't win them all.
Force air into the ballast tanks and it pushes the water out. You can. The submarine has many different ways of getting air. You can actually. Oh my god! Right, Vlad.
How do you get the air? Where's the extra air come from? You get
there isn't
maybe you
extra.
Get a hose.
Seriously, there isn't extra
hey, my mom
air.
got a long garden hose. Hey, you have a garden hose and you poke it out through the top of the submarine and you go up to the surface. Like, you need like 100 feet of hose and suck the air from and then you can begin to. Is that how it works?
No, Vlad. Right. I tell you what, we can go through. Have you ever heard of compressed air, Vlad?
I don't know, man.
You not ever heard of compressed air? I mean, I can talk you, Vlad. I can talk you through the Vlad. Stop. I can talk you through the Vlad. Stop. I can talk you through the operations of a submarine if you like, but that isn't anything to do with flat Earth. What?
Compressed air is going to weigh more. Compressed air, will it weigh more? Compressed air.
Will compressed air weigh? What the fuck does that even mean?
You know what it means.
Air is compressed into the tanks, and then you release that air force it into the ballast tanks. It expands, forces the air out.
But you
forces the water out.
You're saying you kicked out a bunch of air when you were 20 feet beneath the surface and sucked water in to get down to 100 feet beneath the surface. Now you're at 100 feet. How are you going to get the extra air you need?
Because you have compressed air on the submarine. I mean, what is hard to understand? Right, Vlad, like, seriously, the operations of a submarine is nothing to do with flat Earth. All right, I've explained to you how a submarine maintains its pressure. All right, let's move on to the next point. Okay?
Sure. Hold on, no, not until I thoroughly whip you on this point, because on a curving.
Are you disputing how submarine works with a submariner?
It don't matter what your title is. I got you on this one.
What do you mean you've got me?
Submariner.
Oh, right, okay.
A submarine can't work with basketball. It won't work. It'll surface because buoyancy neutral remains right there. The engine goes. It's going to surface. It's going to come out. It's going to. They have to keep resurfacing. They have to keep resubmerging. And they don't do that.
No, they wouldn't have to, because once you are at once you are a certain amount under the water and you've got the ballast tanks, you will stay at that level unless you force air into the ballast tanks from your compressed air tanks on the submarine, force them into the ballast tanks to push the water out. The submarine will then rise to a certain point and then it will stay at that depth unless you change it again. All right? Seriously,
you just said you kicked out all the air. You're like saying that you have a bubble and you push air out of it so it sinks down, and then now you can get it to float back up again with that same amount of air. That doesn't make any sense.
Vlad, you have Vlad. Listen, will you listen? You have tanks of compressed air on the submarine. Do you not understand this?
What does that mean? No, I don't know. What does that mean, compressed air? I don't understand what that means.
Right, if you don't know what compressed air means, we're going to move on, all right? Because no points, Vlad. In fact, negative points to Vlad for being a fucking moron.
Point, Vlad. Cussing means you get mad. When we lose, you get mad. Start cussing.
Vlad, Submariner.
That's a sign of.
I've just explained to you how a submarine works, right? I'll say it to you once more. If you want a submarine to dive, you bring water into the ballast tanks, okay? And then if you are at a certain level, so you're at 20 feet below the water, that 20 feet below the water is the same all around the globe. And if you want the submarine to then surface again, you use... Shut up. If you want the submarine to surface again, you use the compressed air that you have on the submarine, you force it into the ballast tanks, it pushes the water out, makes the submarine more buoyant, and the submarine rises again. This is not difficult to understand.
But does that compressed air somehow have greater effect when you pump it out than it did at 20 feet and it does it 100 feet? It's the same stuff. How come it doesn't? Why would it work at 100 feet and it doesn't work at 20 feet? That compressed air.
What do you mean?
Chain is magically. Wait.
Is the compressed air in the fucking ballast tanks all the time, or do you put it into the ballast tanks when you need it to? Vlad, Vlad, listen one sec, right? Don't talk and just listen. Your idiotic point would stop a submarine working on a flat plane or a ball. It makes no difference. The point is that you make the submarine match the density of the water. Okay? Once you match the density of the water, the submarine maintains that buoyancy position unless you change it. All right? And also, do you know that compressed air is liquid? I mean, no, you probably don't know that, but let's move on. All right, so
it wouldn't give you the effect that you want, and you lose that point.
Can you show me the maths, Vlad? Can you show me the maths to back up what you just said?
You dodged the question because buoyancy neutral is the same at 20 feet as it is at 100 feet. So if those elevators are, yeah, it is. That is the same. It's the same.
So wait, Vlad, you telling me that the submarine will have the same amount of buoyancy whether it's at 20 feet or 100 feet? Right, let me tell you a little thing about submarines, a little trick that we did. Right, stop talking and just listen for a second. A little trick that we did on submarines. It was an interesting thing that we did to show new recruits, right? Before you dive the submarine, right, you would get a big bit of string and you would stick it from one side of the inside of the submarine to the other, okay? And you would make sure that bit of string was taut, all right? And as the submarine dived, the pressure of the water on the submarine actually makes the submarine smaller. It squeezes the submarine. And as you go down, that bit of string that was taut from one side of the bulkhead to the other actually becomes bowed because the submarine has compressed. It's become more dense, right?
Yeah, but it got expanded in the other direction. It might have compressed one.
No.
No,
It hasn't. It hasn't expanded in the other direction. Not at all. All right. Now
the thing would break. They would break if it happened. What you're saying, the thing would break. It has to compensate.
It would break
someplace. It can't come out. How does this thing like a harmonica, man?
Are you really arguing about... Right, okay, let's move on from submarines because, again, I'm a submariner and I could talk you through the operation of a submarine all day, but you're not going to understand. Let's move on to... well, I've already won the pictures from space.
Point Vlad, you lost.
0 points to Vlad. 0 points to Vlad. Well, in fact, right, we've covered your... We've covered the fact that there is videos and pictures from space. Space tourism is about to happen, so if you want to make some money, Vlad, I'm just going to mute you. Vlad, if you don't stop talking, I'm just going to boot you because you're being a dick. All right? So, again, videos of Earth from space. I've shown you them. If you want to go and do space tourism, make some money. That shit's coming up. I think from 2022, you're going to be able to holiday on the ISS. The Chicago Skyline, why can't you see it all the time? Simple as that. If the Earth's flat...
$1,000. Oh, right. Yeah.
Vlad, answer me this question. Can you see the Chicago Skyline all the time?
Well, if it's a clear day, you can see it.
No. Can you see it all the time? So every single clear day, you can see it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
No. Why is it such a rare occurrence that you can see it?
Because it's not always a clear day.
Even when it's a clear day, you can't always see it.
You can see it. If it's a clear day all the way from one...
You really can't.
It might be blocked in one spot.
Vlad.
If it's clear from the viewer to me, you're going to see it.
Except you don't, and that was the entire point of the fact that you could see it. It was such a rare occurrence. The humidity and the temperature, it all matched up perfectly to make refraction so that you can see it. But 99.9% of the time, you cannot see the Chicago skyline from the other side of that lake.
Yeah, you can.
Well, you can just keep saying false things all you want. It's not going to change it. All right?
You're saying false things. You're saying false things. I'm saying true things. So
right.
proof, you have. I'm putting $1,000 down. If you can show me how you can get a pile of bricks to project themselves over a hill so that you could see it from the other side of the hill where you can't see
right,
it.
Vlad.
I'll take $1,000.
Let me ask you a question about that. What's the difference between a hill and a lake?
Look, set up the experiment.
No. Answer me the question. Vlad. All right, you need to focus, dude. All right, answer me this question. What is the difference between a lake and a hill?
Look, it happens on land too. It doesn't just happen on a lake. There's spots on the earth we can see farther than we're supposed to. So, bam, dude, on Earth.
We're
it
talking.
Only happen on water. It doesn't only happen. Chicago's not the only place it happens, man. I'm just bringing it up because everybody knows about that. We could see a lot of places much further than we're supposed to see on land.
We really can see things further than we're supposed to. Right? Okay. Let's do this. Right. Let's.
Show me. Demonstrate it.
Let me find a photo. Where is it?
Hey, G-Man.
He's got friends that amazes me. Right, he's disappeared for 1 minute.
I'm right here. I'm there.
Right, I need you to come back and look at the screen for me.
All I see is my pretty face. I don't see much of the picture behind me.
Well,
I see my handsome, rugged, good looks.
Well, you must be looking at something else entirely then.
Yeah, I look like
you can actually move where your face is. You can move it out of the way.
Oh, how do I do that? Like this? Oh, man. Okay.
All right.
All right, yeah. Okay. Oh, that's amazing. You have
Yes,
a good
technology,
app, man.
isn't it fantastic?
You got
Right.
state-of-the-art stuff. How come you don't have a real picture of a real Earth spinning behind you? You got that fake cartoon, like they look like it made out of Play-Doh. You got a Play-Doh fake Earth spinning behind you, man.
You won't believe how many people ask this same question, all right? Well, answer me this about this, Vlad. At what point could I get a video of the Earth with 500,000 feet tall glowing letters that say "Dumb Fuck of the Year 2019" and a moon going the wrong way with Anthony Riley's face on? Do you think you can get that in real life, or do you think you'd have to create that in some kind of program?
So you get a real Earth and then just superimpose the other stuff on top of it. What's so hard about that?
Or
you got a fake Earth.
Yeah, because it's made to look all nice like this. Stephen Cook in the chat, thank you for doing that for me, by the way. You can't. The Earth doesn't spin that fast for a start, so you wouldn't get this effect. All right, so let's move on from you being really weird. Right, so I want you to look at this. I want you to look at this picture, right?
Good. I like your logo though. It looks good, man. All your stuff looks tight. I like all your stuff, man.
I work hard, but right, I want you to look at this picture, okay?
Now, what you do, man.
Right, so in this picture, the camera height is at 210 meters, okay? Do you understand?
Well, you know, how do I know that?
No, just follow me. The camera height is just follow along. Vlad, just follow along. Right? The camera height that took this picture was at 210 meters. Are you with me?
So they say. I'm with you. I didn't measure it myself, but I'm with you.
Well, it's literally down the road from me, this place, and trust me, there's like literally something there that tells you how high you are. So the camera height.
You're a government secret agent. I can't believe a word coming out of your mouth. But go ahead.
Yes, I am a secret agent. Absolutely correct. Anyway, so the camera height that took this picture was at 210 meters. The top of that bridge where the red line is, that's the Forth Road Bridge, okay? And the top of those pillars are also at 210 meters, okay? You with me? So that gives you what your eye level is. That gives you a point where you're looking straight along. Your eye level is matching with the top of those pillars. Those mountains those mountains in the distance, all right? The highest point of those mountains is over 500 meters. Okay? So how is that possible if the Earth is flat? Because even if you're saying it's perspective and stuff, it would never make something go below what your eye level was. All right? So how has it made something shrink below your eye level?
All right. Well, for one thing, I'm not there to confirm those measurements, number one.
It doesn't
number
matter.
two, no, because if I'm saying possibly the camera isn't as high up as you're saying. It could be lower. That's what I'm saying. I didn't take this picture.
If you have to say it's a lie, then I've already won.
Yeah, a lot of people know. People don't lie.
This is an observation that can be repeated many times, and Miles Davis has actually done this more than once. So,
we've done experiments too, where we've done them too. We've shown no curvature.
Vlad. Right now, I don't care about other experiments. I'm talking about this picture. Okay.
But you only care about one. We've got pictures too, man. We got plenty of pictures.
I don't care about other things right now. We're talking about this one image, and I would like you to explain to me how it is possible if the Earth is flat.
Well, I'm telling you, number one, I have not measured the height of
Doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. Whether you've measured it or not is irrelevant. That is called the genetic fallacy, and I will not have it. Geist, could you... Geist, one second. Vlad, 1 second. Stop talking. Geistview, could you send me the drone images on Twitter, please? So I want you to assume that the camera height is what we are told it is, because this wasn't done by some government agency. It was done by a guy with a camera that lives just down the road from me. All right, and these are images that are all just down the road from me. And the top
is he the
of
same guy
Wait, like
is he the same? I want to ask you: is he the same guy that's taking the pictures of space, the Lord Geisthout or something?
No, this is a guy called Miles Davis. This is a different guy. All right. So you can look on Google yourself if you want to check it. Terrapin Law in Fife is 210 meters. The point where you take this is 210 meters above sea level. Okay, you can check these details yourself. All right, but I want you to play along and assume that you're being told the truth. Okay, and the camera height is 210 meters. That red line, which is the top of those pillars, is also 210 meters. The hills in the distance are over 500 meters. How is that possible if the Earth is flat?
But those hills in the distance look like they're coming up out of some deep ravine. Like those hills are already in like a hole.
It's above sea. It's not but these measurements are in relation to sea level, and that doesn't change.
But that mountain in the back looks like it's in a hole or something, man.
It doesn't matter if it's in a hole. The top of the mountain is 500 meters above sea level. And you see where the water is, right? This is called the Flerfs.
How far away? Where's the water? I don't see. Oh, there's water there.
Yeah, that's called the Flerfs. Right? These bridges, all right? These bridges are what link Edinburgh to Fife. All right, that's the fourth. Did you ever play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas?
No.
You didn't play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas?
No, I don't play those stupid little video games, man.
Anyone that played Grand Theft Auto San Andreas actually went over these bridges because they modeled those bridges on these bridges. But anyway,
little kids, man. I do real Grand Theft Auto. I do the real stuff.
I can believe that for some reason. But anyway, you see where the water is. That the water is sea level. The top of the hills are 500 meters above sea level. So it doesn't matter if they're in a ravine. Because if they're in a ravine, the bottom of them would be below sea level. The point is the top of the mountains are 500 meters above sea level. How is that possible if the Earth is flat?
Well, again, I didn't confirm these measurements.
I don't care whether you confirmed it or not. That's not what I'm asking you.
Well, you don't care, but I care. I care.
Right, what you're doing is,
care,
Vlad, what you're doing is called the genetic fallacy, and it really doesn't matter. Okay, these details can be checked.
You're doing genetic fallacy too on all the stuff I'm saying, so that's called a debate.
I've not used it. Right, can you define the genetic fallacy for me?
Well, you're saying someone's lying.
No, that's not what the genetic fallacy is.
What does it mean?
Well, basically it means you're saying I'm not going to answer that because I wasn't there to do it myself, right? That's basically called the genetic fallacy. I haven't done that. I haven't done that once. I will take any evidence presented and take it on its own merits. Whereas what you're doing is you're going, I wasn't there. I don't know if that's true, so I don't need to answer the question. So let's stop that and just answer the question. How is this possible if the Earth is flat?
Again, you can call it genetic. You can call it any funny name you want. I'm not taking the picture. I don't know who this guy from Adam.
It doesn't matter where.
It sure matters.
I just want. Can you just answer the question on its own merits? Can you just take? All right.
You guys like scientific proof, but then when I ask for that, you call me a genetic phallus symbol. I don't appreciate that.
I'm not calling you a genetic fallacy. I am. Yes. Oh my God.
I am.
Can somebody please clip? Can somebody please clip the last 3 or 4 minutes? That was absolutely incredible.
Let me ask you a question, Vlad.
Go on, team.
Let me ask you.
Hey, I thought I was only fighting flat Earth. Hey.
He's just asking a question quickly.
I'm not gonna provide any evidence. I just want to ask you a question. If you did find out that this photo was real, I'm not saying it is, but I'm saying if you did a little research on your own and you determined for yourself that this photo was real, would this be evidence enough to prove to you that the Earth is not flat?
Well, listen. There's some proofs you guys have. There's some proofs we have. We've got Eric. Listen, I'm answering your questions, Kev. We got Eric's debate with 200 proofs. Earth is not a spinning ball.
I've
They have not
debunked all
been
200 of those.
No, you think you did, but we
No,
don't
I
agree.
literally
Skeptic.
have.
Well, you think you have, but if you did, there wouldn't be a debate. You guys might have a nice proof here. It could look if I went there and measured everything, I'd scratch my head and say, yeah, that's that's pretty good proof. I don't know, man. You understand me, skeptic? I would scratch my head and I would say, that might lean me a little bit towards the globe Earth. Good. I'm saying it could, man.
And that's all. That's all I wanted. I wasn't trying to. I just want to make sure that I wasn't trying to say that this is proof for a globe Earth. I'm just saying because I understand where you're coming from. He is right. He is right. You're using the genetic fallacy here, but I do understand why you're using the genetic fallacy. But I'm saying if you went out there and you did this for yourself and you saw these observations for yourself on your own thing, would it be enough to sway you? But I didn't want to impose myself on this conversation. I just wanted to ask.
No, you came in. You came in as the voice. You came in as the voice of reason. That was good.
Okay.
But let me just make this.
Well,
look
Vlad,
how manly my genetics were. I'm man enough to admit. Sometimes you guys are right. You guys are never man enough to admit we've got a good proof. You guys, even when Craig said,
that's because your proofs are wrong, and we can go through why they're wrong. All right. But let's move on. Let's move on to the next bit, Vlad. Let's move on to the next bit. All right. So this is a similar observation, Vlad. This is a similar observation, but one that many more people have done. So you can.
I'm still saying I got to measure. I'm still saying I'd have to measure all that stuff myself. And if it was the way you said, I'd say no, that's a nice round of proof. But right now I'm saying I don't know that guy from Adam. I didn't take those measurements, and for all I know, that eye level is lower than they're telling me. And that's all. That's my answer. I'm not agreeing with you guys. So don't think that's a point for you.
I mean, it's definitely a point for me, like 100%.
No, it's not.
I mean, it's at least 10 points for me, actually, but
it ain't a point.
It's more than 1 point.
It's 1-0.
It's about 20,000 to 0 right now. All right, let's get on to one of my other evidences that you didn't address. Why we can measure the rotation of the Earth. Should we go with that? We can actually measure the rotation of the Earth.
Look, okay. Let me tell you this, Craig. You got some nerdy looking guy with a gadget inside his room. I don't know what the hell he's talking about or proving. I don't know how that gadget works. Again, I have to look at some guy.
What gadget?
Whatever, he was showing us moves, just with some little. He had a little pendulum or some shit. I was saying, take me up in a spaceship and let me see the globe. Why can't you do that? You got to show me some nerdy guy in his room with a gadget. Oh, look, the Earth is moving.
This isn't a guy in his room. This is literally in a block of flats. All right.
In a what? A what?
It's in a block of flats, Vlad. Let me get it up for you. Right. You see where? Let me go back to that so you can. Right. So you see this stairwell in this this block of flats, right? So this is a bunch of stairs going up, right? This is where he hung his pendulum, all right? In a public place, not in his bedroom. It's not some little gadget. This is hanging down in the middle of a stairwell in a high-rise building, okay? You with me?
But I'm having a hard time seeing what that picture is. I might have to take out my contact lens, man. I see, looks like a...
It's a stairwell.
What am I looking at here?
Right. This is looking up through a stairwell, okay? You see the stairs going round, right? This is where the pendulum's hanging. Yeah. So it's in a high-rise building in the stairwell, okay? And he hung the pendulum in there, okay?
Oh, I see it now. Right? Pendulum will go any way you push it, man. How would they work on the North Pole, the pendulum?
On the North Pole, you would get with this exactly 15 degrees per hour of a drift on that, but
any way you push it is the way it's going to go. That pendulum stuff doesn't cut it.
Wait, here's the thing: he didn't push it. Okay, he simply let it swing. All right, and once it is, I'll speed it up a bit so we can. Once it's
that doesn't
swinging,
prove nothing, Craig.
well, what it does prove is that the Earth is rotating. Okay?
Why does it prove that? Why would it prove that?
Well, if you listen, I'll talk you through it. Right? So as the there we go. Right.
Oh, there we go.
I'll go back to that. What I was saying. So
Can we skip this?
This is the basic math behind it. Okay. The time it
Why
takes
do
to
you
swing.
need math?
Oh my goodness
Take me
me.
up to the sky, Craig. Take me up to the sky on the ISS and show me this, man, and then I'll shut my mouth. Show me.
Vlad, that is just a ridiculous thing to say. If you want to become an astronaut, then you need to go and study and train to be an astronaut. Right?
Sure.
But now, as the pendulum swings,
I see what you're doing, Vlad. I see what Vlad's doing. He's trying to get a free trip to space.
I know.
You on that, Vlad.
I think we can.
If all
I'll tell you what. Let's crowdfund.
And to get a free trip to space, I'm down.
Let's crowdfund Vlad a trip to space and leave him there.
I think me and Skeptic should smoke a little something and get that free trip right here.
Lovely.
Oh no, man. I'm a whiskey guy.
Nathan Thompson, I don't think you know what affirming the consequent is. I don't even think you know what an independent variable is, actually. But anyway, let's move on.
Hi, Natalie.
Yeah, hi, Natalie. Right, so as this pendulum swings,
Hey, hold on? Can Vlad? I think you're all right, man. Can you give me a soundbite real quick? Can you just say out there, Natalie is Team Skeptic's bitch?
Well, I don't want to say that. That's a bad word, man. I don't talk about women like that. Don't ask me to do that.
No,
Skeptic.
oh well, it's not. Oh, it's not. It's Nathan Thompson.
It's not a girl. It's Nathan Thompson, but we call her Natalie.
A woman.
No, I like you, Skeptic, but I'm staying out of that one, man.
Oh.
I don't talk like that.
Oh, I know.
Sorry, buddy.
That's
Natalie
fine.
is Team Skeptic's bitch, though.
Gotta stick together. But he is. He's my bitch.
Right, so
IRL. He's my bitch. IRL.
Nathan, just for you, all right, the independent variable in this is the amount of time that we leave it swinging, all right? So depending on how long you leave it swinging, you can actually measure what you want. Well, actually, no, the independent variable in this would be the position on the Earth that you do it in, I guess. Isn't time in this a dependent variable, team?
What are we doing now, guys? I'm getting bored.
Way to deal with the chat.
One sec, Vlad. I just need. In this experiment, wouldn't the time be the dependent variable and the independent variable be the position on the Earth?
No. I think the dependent variable is going to be the amount of angle from the original plane that it's on, how much it shifts across the paper.
So what's the
variable? Will be the time. So the time or the latitude, either one, you could do it. You could do it for longer to get a longer sweep, or you could do it at a different latitude to get a longer sweep. Either one, but the sweep is going to be dependent upon the independent variable. And the independent variable will either be time or latitude.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's right. So there you go, Natalie. Right. So what happened here, Vlad, is as the pendulum swings, the Earth rotates underneath it. And as it rotates underneath it, the pendulum maintains its position in 3D space. So 41 minutes pass, and it's drifted that much, okay? And it gives us an angle, all right? And then we can measure that angle. And the fact that it's turned clockwise means it's in the northern hemisphere, right? You get an angle of 7.89 over a time of 0.688 hours. You do this basic bit of math, and you can actually calculate your latitude. Now, the thing that makes this impressive is that wherever you do it on the Earth, you will be able to calculate your latitude, wherever you are. So the fact that the latitude that you get is different depending on where you are in the Earth means that the Earth is what is changing. The Earth is the thing that is rotating underneath it. So that is evidence that the Earth rotates. All right?
So nothing can escape the almighty gravity except for this little pendulum that it can move freely from the force of gravity and just
nice straw man there.
Gravity.
Nice straw man there.
Come on, man. Nothing can support gravity except for the pendulum, huh? That's amazing. The almighty pendulum, higher than the almighty gravity.
Here's why what you're saying is wrong, because gravity is what is pulling it down and making it swing. Gravity is the thing that's actually causing it to swing. And it is that swing that allows us to make these calculations. Team, I think I'm right. I think time's a dependent variable in this, because no matter how long you leave it, it's just going to give you... I mean, if you left it half an hour or an hour, you're still going to get the same result, because you have to do it over the amount of time. So I think time is actually a dependent variable in this.
Also, what would happen if you decide?
Hold
on.
One sec, Vlad. The adults are talking. Just hold on.
Okay, let's say you take it to the North Pole, right?
Yeah.
And you do it for 30 minutes, and then you do it for 6 hours. How different will the spread be? Will it be the same, or will it be different?
The spread will be different, but the calculation you get at the end of it is still going to be the same, because you have to do the calculation based on the time and the amount of angle that you get. So no matter what the time is, you're still going to be able to get the same result.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure the time's a dependent variable.
I don't know. Okay.
But anyway.
Hey guys, I gotta go. Hey, look, I gotta get going because we've been at it an hour and a half now, and I got some work to do.
Okay.
I'm enjoying it. I love coming on the show. We could keep going with it another time. Is that okay?
Yeah. Well, you've behaved a lot better this time. So
thank you.
Yeah. Right. Well, thank you for coming along, Vlad. That was about 5,000 to me and 0 to you. Thanks for that. That was awesome. Have a good rest of the day. Please try not to swallow your own tongue whilst you are doing what you do.
What does that mean?
It can mean whatever you want it to mean. All right. Catch you later, Vlad.
You have me. All right, buddy. All right.
Bye.
All right, skeptic too, man. Bye, buddy.
Yeah.
Wow. He really doesn't understand anything, does he?
No.
Like,
at all.
At
the
all.
bottom of that experiment, because I do still think that it's an independent variable.
No, I'm pretty sure that the position on the globe would be the independent variable, because that is the thing that is going to be unaffected by the other things. But no matter how long you leave it for, you would still be able to get the same result of where your latitude is. So that the time actually...
I guess I would need to see what the thing... I don't know. I'm not feeling all that great. I'm still kind of tired from last night. But I do want to get to the bottom of that, because I do want to know the right answer to that.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that time's dependent variable and the position on the globe would be the independent variable. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how it would work for that. So there you go, Natalie. Your independent variable is the position on the globe. But the thing is, when Foucault did the experiment, the scientific method wasn't really a thing, and they didn't think of it like that.
I think it's angle over time. Right? Isn't that what the final measurement is?
Angle over time.
It's angle over time? Okay.
The arc sine of the angle over time.
I don't know. I'd have to think about that to give an exact answer.
Thing is, we're trying to think about this in the limited way that flat earthers do, because the scientific method isn't such a stringent thing like they say. There is many versions of the scientific method depending on the science that you are doing. So it's not the way that they try and describe independent variables and stuff is just very, very wrong. But that was an interesting conversation. Vlad doesn't understand how submarines work, or airplanes. Asked for images of the Earth from space. I gave them, and he said, well, I don't believe it. His only positive evidence was the Chicago Skyline, and that's easily countered with the fact that you can't see it all the time. So, yeah, Anyway, we're going to read some super chats, and I think we're going to get out of here for tonight because we've had some fun. I know I've read it already, but I'll read it again. 50 Canadian dollars from Flerfs are idiots. Hey FTFE and team, just got myself a good camera and mic for streaming. Maybe I can live chat with you two sometime. You guys are great. I love your content. I've watched all your videos. Keep it up, guys. Put this $50 to good use. Thank you very much. I will put it to good use, and I really appreciate it. Yeah, and we'll have you on sometime. Definitely. I think we're planning on having more of our subs and stuff on. You know, we have like the famous guests and stuff, but I think we will be having some science or satires where we just get subs and stuff on and talk about stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Hit me up, Flerfs are idiots, definitely. Cypher Zero, Cypher, you're the man. 10 Australian dollars from Cypher Zero. Ask Vlad why a steel ball can float in mercury. The steel is denser than the mercury and should therefore roll on the surface instead of sinking in it slightly. His eyes would have crossed if I asked him that. 50 Nokias from Jostine Falat. Team Septic, is it true that Greg ends just below his waist? I think I saw a video of him levitating and there was no legs down there. That's like a secret that people aren't supposed to know.
He's one of those people that had the... Yeah, he had his entire bottom half chopped off in a baler accident. It seared him. It seared him closed at just above the hip line. So... That's why you always see that amount of him.
Oh. Let me just... So, you are right, actually. I only exist up to the waist. And you can see that when you do this. There's nothing below me. See? Nothing at all. Ah! You're spinning. I'm scared. Oh, it's not straight now. There we go. And 2 New Zealand dollars from Bella Charge. Where's the positive evidence for flat Earth? There isn't any. We've been asking this for a long time. There isn't any. And $2 from Manhattan QC. Keep up the good work. Thank you. We will. Bella Charge, another 5 New Zealand dollars. Probably calling himself as he didn't know where he was going. Needed to get time to think. 5 Australian dollars from Asylum. FTFE, can you ask him for a functional flat Earth based map? No such thing exists, so probably not. Mark, I'm going to say it wrong. Beiser?
Yeah, that's why he hates you.
Is it Beiser?
We talked about it in person.
It's Beiser, right?
In person, he just doesn't like you.
It's Beiser, right?
You know, as many times as I've told you, yes, it's Beiser.
Yes, Mark Beiser for $2. Even other Flerfs are face palming at this point. $5 from Andrew Stoll. From now on, he is VLED because he is just that dense. Another $2 New Zealand from Bella Charge. Show me one you have done, Vlad. He can't. Another 2 from New Zealand dollars from Bella Charge. You have no proof. Show just one, Vlad. No, he doesn't have any. Another 2 Australian dollars from Cypher Zero. Eric Dubé is the L. Ron Hubbard of Flatardia. I'm actually working on a video that I've been working on for a couple of months. And it's called Eric Dubé's 200 proofs debunked in 30 minutes or less. And I'm working on it to be able to get it down and concise so I can do all 200 in less than 30 minutes. Because I've already debunked them all, I just need to get it in script mode. $1.99 US dollars from Robert Williams. Imagine if Flerfs focused on math as much as meth. $1 from Josh Brim, no message. Thank you very much, Josh. I appreciate it. And $2 from...
Nathan Thompson would be a goddamn mathematical genius.
You mean Natalie?
Natalie would be a mathematical genius instead of a mathematical genius.
$2 from Eric.
That's funny. He just to point out, he tried to say something about me being like 130 pounds and 5'6". I'm 5'11" and about 155, and I'm almost twice as big as him.
Hey Natalie, answer me this: how come when
same height as me, but I'm twice as big as him?
Natalie, how come when team tapped you on the ribs, it sounded like a hollow xylophone? I mean, I think you're malnutrition, dude. Anyway, $2 from Eric.
I heard him walking around just from the reverb from me patting him on the ribs for like an hour. I could hear him getting closer. It was like whoa, 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 whoa. I'm like, yeah, he's a mile away. I can hear his ribs still reverberating from my attempt to say hello.
$2 from Eric VM. I challenged Natalie to meet me in Houston by JSC. Well, Natalie says he'll meet you and then doesn't turn up. And then $5 New Zealand from Only Sheeple Can't See to Flerfs. You want to go where people go, where everyone is insane.
Mate.
You want to go where everybody accepts your claim. Sang to the theme of Cheers. But that's been fun tonight, guys. Thank you everyone for coming. Team, thank you for hanging. I know you've not been well, so I appreciate you being here. Vlad actually behaved himself mostly.
I'm glad I came.
Yeah. Another $5 from Pentalica. Time is dependent variable. Length of pendulum is independent variable. The same material, protocol, and latitude are controlled variable. Thank you. That makes sense. And another $2 from Mark Beiser.
I was trying to think of it. I guess what's throwing me off about it is that it's the final thing that you take. The final reading you take is angle over time. So that's what kind of throws me off with the, because you could change the time at the same latitude and you'd still get the same angle over time. And if that's the case, then time is a dependent variable, not an independent variable. Which I think is what he was saying just now.
Yeah, so there's the calculation.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. There's the calculation. And another $2 from Mark Beiser. A Galileo thermometer would blow Vlad's mind. I think a simple game of Connect 4 would blow Vlad's mind, honestly. Anyway, we have had fun tonight. We've been going.
Tic-tac-toe.
Yeah, that would blow his mind. Thank you guys for coming along. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, Natalie Thompson, for hanging out in the chat so we could all make fun of you some more. That's always good. I will be back in, I'm going to say 2 days with my, no, I'm going to say Tuesday for my video because I'm working on a song to go with it. But I'll be back on Monday with another debate, so that should be fun. Do we have anything tomorrow night, team? Or are we taking tomorrow off?
Yes, I believe. No, I think we're doing something with Sean tomorrow.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll be back tomorrow.
I'm not sure if it's going to be on my channel, on his channel, or what, but we're doing something with Sean tomorrow.
Okay. Well, we'll be back at some point on some channel tomorrow. I'll put a note in my...
yeah, we're not 100% sure. I think we have something planned, but we don't have it actually like set in stone. I believe we're doing something with Sean either on his channel or my channel, just to kind of reiterate that. Sorry about that.
I'll put a note in my community tab to say what's going on tomorrow. But that's been fun, guys. I destroyed Vlad and everything he had. Remember, stupidity is not a right. Fight the flat earth. Fight the flat. Fight the flat. Fight the flat.